What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, I'm your host, Notorious, and join me once again once this introduction is over, are Shaun and Melina, because this is yet another EX episode. Today we're bringing together the Galaxy Express 39 movies with Galaxy Express 39 and Adieu Galaxy Express 39. Galaxy Express 39 was directed by Rintaro, written by Shiro Ishimori, music by Nozomi Aoki, and animation production by Toei Animation. Adieu Galaxy Express 39 was directed by Rintaro, written by Hiroyasu Yamaura, music by Osamu Shoji, and animation production was by Toei Animation. Both were licensed in the US by Discotek Media and released on Blu-ray. So yeah, I'll hand you over to our past selves.
So yeah, this one,
Choo-choo.
I'm again like Ghost in the Shell. I'm worried about how you guys liked it.
I liked it more than Mammal, which I know
Yes.
isn't saying much, but
Same.
Not a high bar to clear.
yeah, I know, but it felt long.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the first thing I want to say. Like, by the end of this movie, I had fun, but I felt physically exhausted.
Yeah.
I maybe should have warned you guys about this because I warned you about Ghost in the Shell's pacing. I really probably should have warned you about this movie's pacing because it is a journey and a half.
Oh yeah.
Journey is the word I would describe this movie, and not just because it's said in the lyrics of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it in 2 parts because I was exhausted.
Yeah, I wish I had done that. Which, to be fair, this one feels like it could be pretty easily split into like multiple parts.
Yeah.
I would say 3 would be ideal.
Yeah.
One for like each of the acts, because each act feels like its own separate, contained.
Yeah, I get
narrative.
that. Yeah.
Like, just to briefly describe them, if that's cool.
Yeah, of course.
The first half is sort of like him getting on the train, and I'd say up to when he meets the mum of like on.
The old lady on the
Maytel.
Yeah.
Oh, Maytel. Or do you mean the old?
No, I mean the
you
old
mean
lady.
you mean Tochiro's
Like
mom.
on a
Yeah.
Titan, I think it is.
Titan, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you mean Tochiro's mom who gives him the gun and the hat.
Yeah, him. Or her. Sorry. Him for the son, her for the mum. I'm sorry. Yeah, that whole story with like, and like the bandit leader and all that, that's a whole narrative that was cool.
Yeah.
Could have stopped there and maybe taken a break. The second act is all of like everything past that up to after he kills
Count Mecha.
Count Mecha,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the final act, Planet Metal. Or
Maytel.
Maytel.
The amount of times it's Maytel. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
especially at the end.
Yeah,
when
he's chasing
running,
the
I'm
train, and it's
like, we get it.
Yeah.
I was expecting Maytel to be like, "What? What do you want?"
Because I think it's like it starts just after Captain Harlock. He says, "Don't trust Maytel," and then they
it's
start.
the
bandit
Oh,
leader.
the band, him.
Because
Yeah.
he sacrifices himself.
Yeah,
to, like,
that's the one.
save-
Don't
Yeah.
you fucking mix up Captain Harlock again. I swear
Look,
to God.
I don't.
That was very aggressive.
I adore Harlock.
I mean, he was a
he
great
is
character.
cool.
Yeah.
That the whole pirate like crew of like him and like what's her name, the queen Emeraldus.
Emeraldus.
She was great.
Yeah.
Liked her.
Yes.
The whole pirate thing was fantastic.
This is something I
Yeah.
was like really excited to discuss because Leiji Matsumoto, who wrote the manga that this is based on, like essentially created the first extended universe within manga. I mean, Marvel Comics would have been going on at the time, but like in terms of connecting in a way that didn't really mean you had to read everything.
Yeah.
Because Harlock has his own series, Emeraldus has her own series, but they all
Nice.
appear kind of in each other's one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I'm always happy to see Harlock show up and stuff. He's a very fun character.
I mean, he was cool.
He was
Yeah.
very cool. I feel like I like the Queen Emeraldus especially. Just yes.
She was
After
just awesome.
after fucking Mystery Mom, I was like, can we just have a woman? That's
We
not.
we need the Fujiko that we were promised.
Yes.
I think it handles a romance with Emeraldus a lot better. Like, because, that was a very sweet story. but didn't make her a damsel in distress.
No.
I just love that the first time fucking Tetsuro sees her ship, he just takes a pot shot at it.
That
Yeah,
was
it
amazing. He
shoots.
opens the window, shoots
He
it, and
He doesn't
shoots
even
everyone's
through
open
the
it, he
window.
shoots through it.
oh, he shoots through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah,
and he's
everyone-
just like, my mission.
It just looks pirate ship. Ha!
It's like, oh shit, that's Emeraldus. I'm looking for her.
Let me get her
To
attention.
get her attention.
Let me just,
But yeah, no. So where do we start with this movie? We've
I
kind
feel
of just
like
kind
we
of gone full into it.
I sort of described each different
Yeah.
act, so we can sort of jump in wherever, I think, at this
there's,
point.
There's so much. Like, part of me wants to start at the end, but I was like, no, leave it.
I mean, we can start at the end if you want.
Yeah.
Like, this movie again, after he killed Kalmecha, I looked at the time, I'm like, this was his end goal. They've been
Same.
setting
Yeah.
this up. Like, there's no setup for whatever's gonna happen next.
I think
Until the guy announces, arriving planet Maytal.
I mean,
And
it
then I
does
was
set up because the bandit leader tells him not to trust Maytel.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
like
That's,
after?
No, that's during
During the
Yeah,
battle.
yeah.
the battle
Yeah,
of Count
but I
Mecha.
feel like we
Like, just
needed
before
it
he's got
just
shot.
like one mention in the beginning.
It sort of hints at it throughout the movie, though,
I honestly didn't notice, but that could be me.
because
I noticed some, like, the hints.
yeah, because there's the fact that she just kind of kidnaps
Yeah.
Tetsuro from the beginning. There's then when they get to the planet, when they're on Titan, and she's been captured by the bandit leader, and they reunite, and they do the body scan. She's
Yeah.
visibly worried about
Yeah.
being checked.
I mean, and it's that like, in that moment, you're thinking, oh, we don't know if she's a robot or a human.
Yeah.
And then they showed that she's a human, but she's still sort of worried, I think.
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, her skin did look kind of different. I think her bones were less dense and were a bit more
they were like,
differently animated.
yeah,
I'd say.
they were more fuzzy's the best way
Yeah, I
I can
think
describe it.
that's- yeah.
There
Yeah.
was something off. I do want to mention that, like, just while it's in my head right now, I don't know if it's just me, but, like, did it seem like a lot of, like, the adult female characters had the same sort of
Face.
That's
Look-
a
face,
that's
yes.
that's very much a recurring Matsumoto thing.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if that was a stylistic thing or like an actual thing I was supposed to pick up on.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's just how Matsumoto designs a lot of his female characters.
Okay, because like,
I had trouble with it too because as soon as Maytel walked in, I was like, "That's the mom,"
Uh-huh.
yeah,
and then
That's
I think,
the only intentional
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So
design
I was like,
choice.
maybe it's intentional. He's mentioned, oh, she kind of looks like my mom. But then I think who's the next lady to show up? I think it's the Queen Emerald.
Emeraldus looks
Where I'm
very
like-
similar.
That's his mom.
Yeah.
yeah, and then later on when you've got her name begins with an R, but it's like the blue-haired sort of Count Mecha girl.
Oh, the guitar
lady.
player.
Ryo?
Yeah.
Ryuzo,
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think something
she-
like that.
Just looks like them, but with blue hair, and I was
Yeah.
like, so is she the mum too?
Yeah, the film I don't think had Matsumoto involved, but it's very true to his
Oh.
designs and how he
Yeah.
designs characters. I think later on in his work, he started working with his wife, and that's when his female character designs got a bit more varied.
Because he realized women are other people.
It's not just hair color, huh?
I think he just
Yeah.
gave the female
yeah.
designs to his wife at that point.
Yeah.
I thought, just going off of this, I thought that was going to be like a plot point. Like, this was all to say that these were a series of, like,
He
bots
just
or
has
something.
mommy issues.
Yeah, if we take a deep dive into this, it's the psychological impact, but being more practical, it's just the way they're designed.
Yeah.
I mean, Tetsuro does have mommy issues.
Oh,
Oh,
big
yeah.
ones.
like 100%.
But they're not related to this
no,
one.
no.
Because it's one of my first things. I was like, oh, that's so cool. We're seeing it from his perspective. Like, everyone's his mom.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's
nah.
just Matsumoto.
Yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to get
Yeah.
that out there. 'Cause I couldn't stop noticing it.
There's it's not just exclusive to the female characters. If you read, like, I'll kind of dive into a lot of his work. There's a lot of recurring character designs in general.
Ah, great.
Tetsuro's is the only design I think that actually changed in this movie, between the kind of original and the movie. Tetsuro's design in the original is very similar to, like, a bunch of characters in Matsumoto's work. I think he even looks a lot like Tochiro in the original.
I mean, he sort of looks a little bit.
He looks
I'm
a
not
little
just
bit like
saying
him
that
now,
because
but
he has
the-
the hat and
yeah.
like, the cape thingy. Cape?
But like in the original, he's very similar to Tochiro.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I thought the twist was going to be that he was like his dad or something.
Yeah, same.
I actually like watching this again when we first see when it opens and you kind of see all the wanted posters and Tetsuro appears in front of Harlock's
Harlock.
one. I'm like,
As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, he's gonna pop up at some point.
no, I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, he's not his dad. I was like,
Yeah, well, that he was originally who I thought was going to be like
Yeah.
the twist dad.
the thing is, I was like, I don't remember a lot about this movie. I only remember like a lot of the broad strokes, and I'm like, it can't be a plot detail that Harlock's his dad, because that's like a central focus of the next movie as to who Tetsuro's dad is.
Oh, okay.
It's very Star Wars, the next movie.
Was it Count Mecha all along?
No. We'll get to Adieu. It's certainly something.
Doesn't sound like high praise. We'll get to
We'll
it.
get to it. We'll get to it. But yeah, so
It was a journey, I think. It really does well in taking you through the places where they go, even though, like, I understand with, like, spacing and timing, it can be a bit weird because it's a long span of time.
yeah,
Because they mention, oh, we're going to be here for, like, 16 Earth days, and it's, like, 20 minutes.
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, sure. But also, I feel like I want to know more.
Yeah, I get that. I think it intentionally kind of messes with the passage of time a little bit, and that, like, they'll have the event that happens on that planet, and then they're just back on the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
3-9.
Which I could accept that like pretty easily, but I get what you mean. Like, it's weird how they specifically bring up like these take a long time, like
Yeah.
layovers, and then suddenly it's just like one event. Go.
I think once you get to what planet is it where they have to like rush to get back to the 3-9? It's the last one before
Metal.
by
the
before
trade
Ice?
trade
the
outpost?
trade outpost
Oh, yeah.
one, yeah.
That's the one.
I think it's all sort of done like that so that when you get to that part, there's a bit more in kind of tension as to them getting back to the 3-9 in
Yeah.
time, and maybe gives you an idea of like how much time has actually
It
passed.
gave me so much anxiety. Them being like, "Oh, we have 6 days. Let's just go to this place." I'm like, you have a train to catch. It was also I want to mention this because it made me laugh too much. On like I don't remember the name of the planet where all the people were in the ice. was
Pluto.
it?
Pluto, yeah.
Oh, it's Pluto. They all had the pose of they had to do it to him.
God, you're right.
And once I saw,
You mean they were in the traditional funeral pose?
No, they
they
had to do it to him.
them. Like, I knew it was traditional, but I just saw this onslaught of people all standing with their arms like
I didn't
that.
catch that, but now it's amazing.
Oh, I can't unsee that when I watch the movie now.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Like, for a second, I could take serious, like, oh, yeah. And then as soon as I mentioned it to my boyfriend who was watching it with me, he was, why have you done this? Because it's very dramatic, and I understand, like, the weight of it. It's all these bodies and stuff. But they had to do it to them.
They had to do it to him.
I mean, that's probably what they'd be saying when they got their mechanical body.
Yeah.
They
They
had,
had to do it to them.
Yeah.
Can I just say, while we're on Pluto, that the Shadow?
Shadow.
Yeah, she creeped me the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's like that, along with when we get the reveal of what planet Maytel is actually about and stuff. Those two parts are like the most horrifying things I've seen in a while in like movies.
Yeah, no, I get that. I love the kind of reveal of Planet Maytel. Like,
Yeah,
I think it's one of
done
the
very
best.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw my reaction when like Maytel's like whole thing here and like Planet Maytel's like, I was like, traitor, you traitorous bitch. I was legitimately distraught.
I think it's a great kind of rug pull
Yeah.
moment.
Because we end on, like, oh, he's killed Mecha. He's just, what's he gonna do? He doesn't, because he wanted to have the mechanical body to kill.
Yeah.
Like, well, he doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the point of going there now?
Yeah.
Well, he does say after he's buried someone, I think he makes a grave for the bandit leader, and then he's speaking to Harlock, and he says that he's going to the mechanical planet in the Andromeda
And that's
Galaxy
the plan to
Mhm.
destroy it.
to
yeah.
destroy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes from wanting a mechanical body to kill Count Mecha to wanting to kill all mechanical beings, I think.
Which the way he says
Villainous
is
little
kind,
boy.
it's kind of like genocide now.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wonder how much of the percentage of the galaxy's population is
They imply
mechanical
it's
at this
a good
point.
chunk.
It's a good chunk,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, like, I love how they gave some robots robo-nips and the others not.
What?
Like,
Okay, I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice this either.
like, they have the circle on their stomach,
Uh-huh.
but there was also this one guy that also had those circles on his nipples.
You know that the girl and with Count
Ryozo.
Ryozo
Something like
for
that.
Count
She has
Mecha,
one.
she has
Yeah.
them as well.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on it for any other character.
No.
Well, it wasn't very noticeable. It was just the fact that I was kind of zoning out because I think this was first
Zoning
half.
out.
Okay. Thanks.
But yeah, I thought what's her name? I'm not gonna
Ryozo.
remember.
Ryozo.
Her-
Yeah.
We can just call her
I-
blue hair
Blue
lazy.
hair
Blue
lady.
hair lady. I think she was mechanicized the best. Like in aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was done so she could be sexually pleasing to the.
Yeah, but it was like, but it's an understandable choice then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the others kind of looked
Funky.
very human.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think there's a lot of really varied designs, but then there's
Mhm.
also a lot of like they just have a big single
A single
eye,
circle
and it's like
Yeah.
a targeting thing, and she has them
on it.
on her breasts, and I'm
Yeah.
like, can you see through those?
I'm gonna be honest. I
Genuine
question the same.
Because she has them on her breast, and she has them in her. I think she has one in her stomach
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
stomach.
I'm like,
Also, it's
can you
weird
see
that
them?
in the middle of the head they put a target. Like it's
I mean, it's like it's a reticle thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so like a targeting system.
Yeah.
hmm Like I understand it's for them, to see,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also like you're looking at them like you're literally a walking
Yeah,
target.
it does very much look like a big shoot here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they
Sign.
kind of did that because I think just big red circle would look kind of weird.
Yeah.
I
Makes
think-
it a bit more human.
Yeah, it
in a
adds a
weird
bit
way.
more depth to the
Mhm.
design, I think. Yeah, I I don't know where to go with any of this conversation because we've went in a totally different direction than I
Yeah.
expected.
As is usual.
As
Yes.
is usual, yeah.
I think it's a very good movie. Like
Yeah, it's a good movie. This is one I'd
it
recommend.
plays with
Yeah.
storytelling very well.
Uh-huh.
Even though it gets a bit slow in the middle,
Yeah.
I'd say, but it truly does make up for it because once you kill Kalmecha, you have what
Yeah.
now? And they really make up for it by being
Yeah.
like, here's some bad shit stuff for you.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think the whole kind of like not slump, but this kind of slower part in the middle is like a very kind of more reflective sequence.
Yeah.
To kind of you have Tochiro becomes part of Harlock's ship, and I think you just kind of have Tetsuro realizing that people are dying
yeah.
in this adventure.
People are dying.
Yeah, like
Like straight up.
yeah, like he's having to like actually face death properly for the first, not for the first time because he lost his mother, but like
he has to
like-
process it.
Yeah.
because I
I
don't
mean,
think
see
he
it
processed it.
consistently
No, yeah.
and like constantly enough that he really has to deal with it.
yeah, which I think maybe kind of pushes him towards wanting to destroy the mechanized planet in the end, and not just taking down Count Mecha. But yeah, it's I love this movie. I can't really say
I can
any more
understand
than that.
it.
I get
Um,
that completely.
It's weird. I haven't seen I've seen more Matsumoto anime than I have read the manga because a lot of it's not really available in English, unfortunately. Like Galaxy Express hasn't been translated, which I'm very sad about. But for someone who I haven't been able to experience a lot of his work just because of the general kind of lack of availability, Matsumoto's been really influential on me as like a writer because I do writing in my spare time. We're all on a course last year that we kind of studied it a little bit.
Yeah.
We were told things we knew.
Yeah, we're
Basically.
yeah. But that was when I first watched a few Matsumoto things, which was Galaxy Express and Space Battleship Yamato and stuff like that. And it's been very informative in how I just want to handle sci-fi, because this is
It's done very, because I think we've seen a lot of sci-fi, just general, all of us.
yeah.
And I don't like sci-fi that leaves you questioning everything.
Yeah.
I like sci-fi where it's like, it doesn't need to make sense, and you'll get it. Like, yeah, train in space. How does it go forward? I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
That's not the important part of the
No.
story.
exactly. That's what I kind of love about Matsumoto stuff, is it's like Space Battleship Yamato, that's like a World War II battleship that's been dressed up to fly in
Yeah.
space.
Makes
Cool.
sense.
Yeah. Emeraldus' ship literally is just a pirate ship with a big blimp attached to it.
Yep.
Cool.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like this kind of sci-fi that it doesn't need overly explained. It's just, it builds this atmosphere and tells us a very human story,
Yeah.
really. And I think I like the worlds that he builds. And that's been what's really influential on me, is that I just feel absorbed in them whenever I watch his stuff. And the music in this especially is fantastic. This is one of my favourite soundtracks of all time. It's certainly helped by the two songs that are in it. They're very upbeat and catchy, but then
Yes.
like you see them in the context of the movie and they're kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
Like the first one plays when he's leaving on the 39 and he's like seeing, images of his friends that he's leaving behind. He's kind of sad to be there, and then the end of the movie, it's a little awkwardly constructed because you have, the score playing. It's all very melancholic, and it just fucking smash cuts
Yeah.
into the song, and he's and he's just crying, and I'm like, I get it. I get what you're trying to do, but you could have done it a little bit smoother than
Yeah.
this.
Could have had like maybe like a little like gap and then show him as like some sort of like a happier place.
Yeah, which is it's kind of weird because on the actual soundtrack, the piece that you hear before the song is actually part of that song on the soundtrack. Yeah, so to listen to that song, you need to hear the sort of like 3 minute, instrumental piece before that, and then it just smashes into. I forget what the name of the song is now. I think it's maybe just Galaxy Express 39.
Because the music, I think it was approached very differently from what I'm used to. Like, I watched it thinking maybe this is a more, Japanese approach to how to score. Because I think, for me, it felt like a lot of the score was beautiful. I loved it. But sometimes, like, the emotion behind it didn't feel right.
I think the scores there to kind of underlie a lot of the emotional drive of the movie. So like, while there's maybe happier things going on that kind of contrast the score, it's kind of there to maybe point out that Tetsuro, still isn't, happy. He's
like, I assumed it was very intentional, but it's something I'd never seen before, and I was like, it feels like visually jarring to hear a score of a certain feel and then see something different.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen someone really play with that.
I think this and maybe Adieu, the sequel, are the only ones that I've ever really seen do it. I don't think that Yamato done it, which was, the other Matsumoto work. That has a very iconic soundtrack, but it's not in the same kind of vein, and whatever's playing is kind of used to punctuate what's actually happening on screen. There's a lot of kind of sad music because that's the tone of Yamato is this very it's optimistic, but let's face reality, humanity is doomed.
Yeah. Let's just move past that though.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think I've seen this done very very often. I think that's maybe why I like this one so much. Actually, speaking about Matsumoto and his other work, there's a lot of nice kind of references to other stuff, like when they're when they're boarding the 39, there's an announcement for a train heading to the large Magellanic Cloud cluster. That's where Yamato takes place. That's where they're heading in Yamato, because that's where the enemy planet Gamlis and the twin planet Gamlis, who's trying to help them, Iskander, is located. I just thought that was a really nice touch. And then you've got I think that's Harlock's theme that plays underneath when he's on screen. It sounds very much like from Yamato though. It doesn't sound like it's from Harlock. There's loads of references that I maybe haven't even picked up as well because I haven't, like I said, general availability of Matsumoto's works sucks. So please, Discotheque, if you're listening to this, would be nice.
Give us some of that free shit.
No, just license them, please. I'll buy them. I'll pay for them.
But give us free shit too.
No, yeah, I really love this movie. It's one of those ones that I just get absorbed in every time I watch it. It's not a type of storytelling you see very often anymore. And like you said, it plays with storytelling and music and stuff like that. So yeah, I think we've said all we can say about it really at this point.
Yeah.
So here we go. Adieu Galaxy Express 3
Going on the journey.
The sequel.
The never-ending journey.
Yes.
And
it does
that
actually end this time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it feels like it never fucking ends.
It does
at
feel
one
like it
point.
doesn't end.
That was like my main criticism of the first one, and it returns for the
Yes.
second.
Oh yeah.
Like I think 15 minutes before the end, it starts ending.
Yeah.
And you're like, beautiful shot, credit, nope, okay, nope, no credits, nope, okay, no credits.
My immediate closing thought after watching this movie was, that could have worked better.
Yes.
But it did not need to be over 2 hours.
Yeah.
No,
If they had cut this down to like an hour and a half, roundabout, then I would have probably felt a lot better about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with its questionable narrative direction.
Yeah. I think this one has some not creativity issues, but there's
Right.
definitely too many
Ideas.
other ideas from other movies. You got Soylent Green, quite literally.
Oh yeah.
You got Star Wars. And a very shit version of Luke and Vader.
yeah, like
Because
I had-
Tetsuro doesn't even know at
No.
the end of the movie.
No.
like I had already heard, like, I can't remember if it was from you or like somewhere else, that like Star Wars had influenced this movie.
Yeah, that was probably
It was probably you. So I after like Faust, which is quite the subtle name,
yeah.
Faust.
Faust.
Like, oh boy, I wonder if they're gonna bring up a demon reference. Oh, there it is, right there. They straight up call him the devil,
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
or like Harlon does. or something.
Harlock calls him the devil.
Harlock.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I
And
call
again,
him
there's a full backstory with him and Harlock, and they just don't go
No,
into it.
that
it was-
happens in the final 20 minutes.
Yeah.
In like a couple sentences.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all happened. Faust pops up occasionally.
Yes.
Sort of just standing there menacingly, until the end he sort of sacrifices himself and he's like, Tetsuro, you were my son, and then he dies.
Yeah. And he doesn't even tell him. He
No.
just like thinks it, and you're
And
like,
as he floats away, my son. I'm like,
yeah.
That you could have maybe, said it to your son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Harlock doesn't tell him either. He just throws the locket into space, and I'm like,
Fucking dick.
what the fuck? What was the
Yeah.
point if you're not gonna have it impact Tetsuro?
What's
What is the point in it?
Yeah.
It affects the audience. Yeah, but the audience needs to feel affected through character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you like Empire Strikes Back?
Well, you're sure gonna like this.
We can do Empire Strikes Back. Look.
Oh no, we're doing Jedi, aren't we?
Honestly, by like the end of the movie, I was like, are they gonna rip off Return of the Jedi before Return of the Jedi even came out? Because that's impressive. Actually, with the way Ghost Queen
Prometheum. I
Yeah.
think,
I keep wanting to say Prometheus.
Yes.
I know that's
It's
wrong.
a cool name.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool name.
The ghost of like Queen Prometheum. I was like, oh wow, this was Rise of Skywalker 30 years before Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
it's still shit.
It's still shit.
Yeah. Like, I think the beginning was where I was kind of dreading it because I was like, oh my god, it's just going to be a war movie. I was like, where's the fucking train?
Yeah.
Guys, where's this fucking train at? I need this train.
I don't know why I was slightly intrigued by that.
I mean, we were 15 minutes in when he got the little note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
like, I don't think 15 minutes was enough to build up the relationship with the people he was with.
No. And then
then
5 minutes later,
everyone-
he's on the train.
Yeah, because everyone's like, we'll help you get to the train. I'm like, oh, that's very kind of them. And they all die. I'm like, well, that's not fucking worth it. No offense. I'm not bringing this boy to this fucking galaxy train if I'm dying for it.
I almost wasn't sure if, like, the people that were helping in the beginning of the movie were, like, what was their name in, like, the first movie? Like, there was a whole bandit crew.
I
the
don't
pirates.
think it was them.
I know it wasn't them, but, like, I was
Bear in
almost,
mind-
like, questioning, like,
yeah.
are these supposed to be them?
Well,
'Cause it almost feels like they're supposed to be, but they're not.
yeah, because the bandit leader, like, I had that thought, and I'm like, no, the bandit leader definitely died.
Yeah,
in the first
that's what I was
movie.
thinking. So I was like, well, what's this?
Yeah,
What's all this then?
it doesn't really explain
And, you know,
though,
they were on another planet.
like where the war had come from, because it's like maybe a year has passed.
Also, I want to say the like robot soldiers make the
Oh, the
funniest fucking
sound
sound
they
when
I
they
love the
jump.
Mario sound effect every time they
Boing,
jump.
boing, boing.
I'm like, surely they're better
I'm expecting, like, points to come up every time they die.
because like they angrily jump towards you with guns, but all you hear, boing.
Yeah.
You know what this movie reminded me of? It reminded me of Dragon's Quest, weirdly enough. That fucking that arcade game.
Oh, the arcade laserdisc game.
The Laserdisc game, yeah. Fun fact, by the way, this has nothing to do with anything. I just found this a couple weeks ago, and I want to point this out. There's a Lupin Laserdisc game.
Shit, you're right. I remember reading about that.
And it uses animation from both Cagliostro and Mamo.
Yeah, that's right.
I
Which
wanna-
has got to be the weirdest, like, because those are very,
They're very
different
different.
stylistic
Oh.
movies.
Yeah. I want to play that game.
I kind
at
of
some
want to play
point.
it as well.
Anyway, sorry, I wanted to bring that up, but yeah, this movie weirdly reminded me of like a Laserdisc game that was just playing out normally.
I get that. It definitely feels like there's moments where you should be interacting to make something happen.
Yeah, every time
Oh,
that
yeah.
like Amuro's in like the dark or anything, and he's waiting for that. I'm expecting like
Tetsuro.
a button prompt.
Tetsuro.
Tetsuro. I said Amuro.
Yeah.
You
Look,
did.
I told you this was gonna happen to me.
Look, they merged in my head.
Just saying.
Their designs aren't even that different.
They have similar kind of character arcs as well,
Yeah.
I think.
Catch me out every time I do that. It might happen a lot. But yeah, every time Tetsuro's in the dark and like he's waiting for like a noise to pop up so he can shoot them, I'm expecting a button prompt
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that sort of Dragon Quest style, like do.
Yeah. It is. It's weird. It's like. Hold on, I'm gonna pull out some notes that, well, not notes, but I had a conversation with someone about the movie after this because, you know, I loved the first movie, and I obviously wanted this to be like, you know, a fantastic sequel, and I've heard a lot of great things about it over the years. And so, you know, when I first watched it, I thought, this will be good. And then I watched it, and I was a bit disappointed. But then on a rewatch, it was tough as fuck to get through because it's so long.
It is very long.
It's so long.
I think cutting out some parts would have been good, but I'm also like, what parts?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I was weirdly tempted, like, after watching it to, like, if I put this in Premiere Pro, I want to try and see if I could cut out some stuff and try
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
a better version.
I feel like you could trim the beginning.
Yeah. It's not. They don't
Yeah.
make you feel sorry for the people anyway. You
No.
might as well cut it short.
You can trim out some of the planets that they go to on the 3-9.
I was so happy they didn't stop in Pluto again. I wouldn't have been able to keep myself together.
I appreciate the fact that, like, they acknowledge Pluto and fly over
Yeah.
it, even,
They
like,
still are doing it to them. Still doing
they're
it.
still doing it to them.
We are
Sorry, we're not
all-
on camera. Why are we doing it?
We're
We are
doing the
all-
you gotta do it to 'em.
You gotta do it, Tom.
But yeah, and even, like, the ice woman that's on, like, Pluto.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while, I've forgotten her name.
I don't remember.
I wanted
I
to say
don't
Ice
remember.
Queen, but
Name. Doesn't Maytel just call her like Ghost or something like that?
yeah.
No, Shadow. That's
Shadow.
It.
Yeah, they even show like Shadow just sort of staring at the train, and then they pass by. That was nice.
It was a
I
nice
appreciate it.
little reference to the first, because I hope, like, oh, please tell me about the first one. Just, you know, I like within a sequel, you can do storytelling of the first without making it sound like you're just recapping.
Yeah.
And I think it was done well because
It does it.
I tend to need that
Yeah.
connection point.
Especially if it's been like a good gap between watching.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think, I think the best way for me to do this is just like a review thing, so I can kind of like just put my thoughts together because it's very scattered.
Go right
And
ahead.
like, So I'm reading from my phone. I'm gonna try and not sound like I'm just reading, if that makes sense. Because I do like it for Tetsuro's story arc. I think it's a nice like conclusion, and like the way the film ends with the narration, and then like the way the final words come up on screen. That is a very good way to like conclude his journey.
He's finally
beautiful song in the credits.
Oh, I love that song so much.
I love Sayonara.
Yeah, such a good song.
I stuck around this time to like listen not to the full credits because I was very tired.
Yeah, I let the song play out and then
Yep.
Final word. Yep, I've said that. I can't really fault the film for its creativity because it does have some incredible creative direction when it comes to visuals and you know, animation. Like when they go to the Andromeda Galaxy, that just looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, like you could put this movie on mute and you could get like a pretty good experience.
That scene though 100% needs the piece underneath it from Osamu Shoji, who takes the place of, I forget the name of the first film's composer.
Shame.
But I think Shoji brings like a lot more dynamicness to the soundtrack, and it gives it much more like, it gives it a better feeling across, you know, there is a very consistent feel to the first movie soundtrack, and that doesn't mean it's bad, but there's a lot of different things in Shoji's soundtrack.
I kind of critique the soundtrack on the first one because I think it overused it, because I think it just felt out of place. I think silence in film is very strong. And I think it underutilized silence in the first one, and was like, we have a beautiful score, we have to use it. And like, I know you feel like you have to, but you really don't.
You don't have to do it to him.
You don't have to do it to him.
That's what the soundtrack releases.
Yes, exactly. And I think my main issues really come from like events that just happen for the sake of happening. Because you have Metal Mena, who just does a total fucking 180
in the span of 2 minutes.
In the span of 2 minutes at the end of the movie for no fucking reason.
Because you know, she was a very mysterious character. We got on and everyone's like, what's her deal?
Yeah.
You know, she's only here because we couldn't find fucking people to work.
She's a bit of a bitch.
She's a bit of a bitch if you ask me. But, you know, it comes clear only very late that she wants like Maytel's body.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's, you know, interesting, you know.
And then they find out Soylent Green is people, and she's just like, oh, well, shit. I guess I better die.
No, not even that. She sees all the people get like ground up, and she's like, who cares?
Yeah.
And then Maytel just goes, well, would you be sad if no one cared about your death? And that's apparently a very armor-piercing question.
Yeah,
because
it's so
after that,
weird.
she completely 180s as a character and sacrifices herself.
Like, I think just seeing, like, oh, your food, every single piece of food you eat is a human being.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah, I feel like that should be enough to be, oh, this is so fucked.
And it's not just that, though. Like, she survives that moment.
Yeah, because she, like...
And then she just yeets herself off the train at the end, and I'm like,
she
what?
flops onto the train and then flops off.
Yeah.
I wish her death could have had more significance.
Yeah, because she's just like, oh, shit, it's sucking up machine stuff. Well, guess I better go. And then it's like, I'm sure they would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, you're a machine? You don't need air?
Like, Maytel's a machine.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be fine.
One thing I do want to bring up as well, when they destroy, like, it's not Planet Maytel, what's it called?
I think, is it called
Heavy?
Great Andromeda?
Great Andromeda.
Oh,
yeah.
that
Oh,
one
Heavy
they-
Heavy
It's the one before
is
it.
from the
Yeah.
first film where they can't go because the atmosphere's fucked.
The tradeway sort of.
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
Traders
yeah.
something or other. But anyway, Grand Andromeda, when that thing destroys, you see everyone in that city like die as well.
Yeah.
And they don't really bring up the fact that this is kind of horrific.
Yeah.
Especially
like,
that
it's
they
all robot people that live there, is it?
Yeah, but they're still like formerly people.
yeah,
But they're
and-
all on the train. I mean, oh no, you mean the formerly? Yeah, okay, no, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like the people who have mechanized bodies were people
At
before
some
they.
point,
yeah.
yeah.
They also make a point to point out there are children
Yes.
as well, like mechanized little children that are
Which,
there.
first of all, it's a running joke, and like the What We Do in the Shadows world is like it's a huge crime to turn a child into a vampire because they're eternally a child.
Yeah.
And who the fuck wants
Wants to be a child.
Yeah, ethically, just from the start, that's a bit fucked.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like they destroy the planet. I don't think they bring as much attention to the fact that all these people are dying.
No.
Like, a child is still a child.
It also then draws less attention to the fact that, Siren the Witch, the big comet,
As
that's
opposed-
more of a black hole,
As opposed to our cousin, Witch the Siren.
which the Siren just comes in and just starts
Munch.
Yeah.
just starts hoovering them all up.
Yeah, just like consume.
Yeah.
I must consume.
And that's also fucking horrific. And then she just, it just leaves again. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
That's another thing that happens just to happen
Yeah.
in the movie.
Characters or things come in and then go away because Harlock and Emeraldas do that twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this movie, they just appear.
Yeah.
They seem so fucking interesting as characters. Like
Yeah.
the way they
Yeah.
look, the way they act. I want to see so much more from you.
I'd watch a full series just based on them.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh.
There are, because
yes.
they keep recommending it to me.
Okay.
And just seeing them, I'm like, you're not being used to your full potential for
Yeah.
sure.
Literally, Harlock and his ship come in, he goes he's got your arms crossed or meh, for a full scene, and then he fucks off again.
yeah. Because when we first see Harlock in this, literally they just pass him by. And it's like, okay.
Cut.
And then Emeraldas just shows up with Maytel after she had disappeared. And has a full conversation. It's like, wait, couldn't we have got that with Harlock?
Yeah.
And then she just leaves again. You're like, okay.
Refuses to
I mean,
elaborate.
it's better than the first one where Tetsuo just shoots at their ship. She's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite parts of the first movie.
Oh, yeah. Ship? In space?
Fuck it, gotta fuck him up.
Oh, and then you got the scene where
the
the
JFK
ghost
scene.
of Lee Harvey Oswald just for a moment consumes Tetsuo. And he almost assassinates Maytel for no fucking reason.
Look, so much of this movie is a fear dream to me.
Yeah, that's fair. This is after she's it's officially known that she's the new queen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's driving to the Soylent Green factory.
Long live Her Majesty the Queen. I'm watching that oh.
I sent that JonTron gif of
That didn't age too well.
yeah. But yeah, that happens. She's going on her way, and Tetsuo just sort of Maytel, doing that triple animation repeat thing.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think probably because this is 81 and that would have first properly been used around the time the first movie came out in animation and an anime, and it had an impact on how
I guess it always looks cheap to me.
it can, if it's used right, it's great. It gives a lot of impact to stuff, but for a scene where he doesn't go through with it and it serves no purpose, yeah, it's a bit cheap.
Because then he just sort of collapses, oh, I'm not really gonna.
Yeah.
Speaking of the parent issues we talked about from the previous one, Gundam, he goes back to see his mother and
Yeah.
himself in time, knowing he's his mom's gonna die. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how fucking dare you?
Yeah. Casual time travel.
Yeah.
Casual time travel. They're
I-
just kind
I-
of you must experience this. I'm like,
The thing
He's
is, he
still a
says,
boy.
he's going to travel through time, but he can't affect anything around him. So I think he's just living out
ghost?
Yeah,
a
it's-
memory
it's more
or
a
something.
memory machine
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah.
But the way it's Faust that describe it, it's I've sent him back in time.
Yeah.
And I'm just oh,
you
is
can
that all?
do that?
Yeah, I'm
we-
hold on. We killed Count Mecha in the first one, and he had the time castle. So what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Fucking Time Lord piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good scene, very good scene.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
seeing him
that was good.
plead for his mom, it's very
got a-
sweet.
Nice little bit of recycled animation with the
Yeah.
cavalry, or was it was Count Mecha on
Count
that.
Mecha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was nice to see again.
I think
Makes me
my-
wish I was watching the first one.
Yeah, I think my only issue with that scene, and this kind of ties into my next point, is that just kind of retreads ground from the first movie.
I mean, that's true, yeah.
And I think, that's an issue I have with this, is that, well, it is a different film. There's too much of it that feels the same.
Yeah.
And
true.
structurally it's very similar. Because
very
the
much-
ending act is literally just copy paste.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
It very much feels like this is almost like a studio mandated sequel.
Yeah.
Compared to like an actual sequel
Which
they
I
wanted
don't
to make.
think it was.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess it's more along the lines of they wanted to make a sequel.
Yeah.
They just didn't really know how.
Yeah, because the thing with like this sequel is that it came out like 9 months before the manga ended, and Reiji Matsumoto, who wrote the manga, didn't obviously didn't want to tell them how it ended,
Yeah.
and like give it away, so they kind of had to make it up, and so I don't think this adapts anything from the manga.
Okay.
It does kind of feel a bit fabricated in a way.
Yeah.
Like someone looked at the world and was like, I want to see this. Like,
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
first one, I want to make this. I'm like, but you can, and you did. You sure did.
Yeah.
You want to have the 2001-esque like sequence in the middle? You can
I
go right
still
ahead.
love that part though.
Oh yeah, like visually it is beautiful, but like narratively,
Yeah.
it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I'm like, we've been to Andromeda before. I was like, that's where the movie ended last time, and I'm like, we didn't go through this bullshit.
Yeah.
Still a great sequence.
At that point, I just sort of turned my brain off and just let it all wash over me.
Let it
And
happen.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just accepted the fuckery.
I mean, we've talked about Faust, but like, I just don't get along with his part of the movie whatsoever because it doesn't affect Tetsuo. It doesn't affect
No,
any
it's like-
character.
He feels forgettable to me, not because of who he is as a character, but because of his significance in the story.
Yeah, which
Like,
is
legit.
none.
He's just there. And I don't like that he's just there. Like,
Yeah.
I just
He's
tend to
there
forget
to
characters.
he's there to give the film an antagonist for a
Creepy
period
boy.
of time.
Yeah.
But he doesn't show up until 50 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the film has just been aimlessly moving along with, the train. They don't know where the train's going. They're just kind of going along with it for
Yeah.
some fucking reason.
Also, the train can talk now.
And the train can talk. That was another
Choo-choo,
thing.
motherfuckers.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. The train just has a voice now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so weird. Out of nowhere.
And a personality.
And a personality, because it says it's scared
Yeah.
at one point.
It was a nice change, but I was kind of weirded out. Like,
Yeah.
I like the moment where he was like, "There's a train coming, but I'm on the right track." I don't know. It felt very Thomas the Tank Engine to me, but I understand that's just gonna happen regardless.
You got trains. It's going to happen.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's a diesel engine.
Oh, the Phantom Train. The more I've thought about this, the more I don't like its parallel with some real event that happened in history.
Oh. Am I being dumb right now? No.
A little thing called the Holocaust.
Oh
Oh, those trains.
It feels a little too similar.
I mean,
no. Ooh.
It's literally a train that travels through space with a bunch of people inside it that then get
Oh no.
burned and turned into...
Oh, I didn't think of that. Until
It wasn't until I was
can we have
walking...
one fucking movie for the love of God?
He can't keep getting away with this.
I don't know if I've only picked up on that similarity because I watched Schindler's List not long ago.
No,
I didn't honestly. I lost a lot of context in this movie, especially regarding Faust. Faust. What? How do you pronounce it?
Faust.
Faust. That's it.
like
Like
the old story.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You don't know the story of Faust?
The story
No.
of Faust.
Pretty famous classical
Have you heard
literature.
the story of Das?
Well, the thing
Biggest
is, no, I
stories.
heard different stories, usually by different terms growing up.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
No,
Yeah.
don't
It's
worry
where the
about
term
it.
like Faustian and stuff comes from.
It's
don't know
it's
the term.
basically
Ah.
where the whole trope of like the deal with the devil comes
Yeah.
from.
Ah, didn't know that.
I guess Faust is also another name for Mephisto
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's related to Satan.
Yes, Satan.
But yeah, I didn't really connect the dots until the end. I was like, oh, there's people in that phantom train. I thought it was just evil train. Ah.
Nah, we find out that's where the
Yeah.
people came from.
For some reason, like, it's not it didn't fully click with me like right now that was what was happening.
Yeah.
Which has now made that like scene where he's in the station and he hears like
The locket
the
from
locket so much creepier. 'Cause
Yeah.
I thought that
Oh,
was just
yeah.
a trap. Like they were just
Nah.
mimicking it. No, that was his like body.
that was his body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because they're technically alive before they In the train, they're
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
'cause
like
they wake up after
frozen
they-
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That train
He's
must have
dead.
great insulation if they want to keep the
No.
lights.
what is his name?
Oh, the elf looking thing.
Yeah.
Meowder.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think so.
Meowder.
Meowder. Yeah, yeah.
Who
Which
had,
I
like-
just keep thinking, Thundercat's character?
Yeah.
He just looks so out of place to me. Who the fuck is this?
I feel like he's designed like that only so at the end of the movie where Tetsuro's climbing the mountain of corpses, he can identify his
Absolutely.
body.
Yeah, 100%. The first thing I thought when I saw him in the pile of bodies, like, this screams anime main character to me. First of all, there's not enough, like, heft to that scene where he's climbing bodies. That is,
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't want to say it's taken lightly, but I feel like maybe some stylistic choices would have helped
Yeah.
there. And just, to really nail down the point. He's climbing a pile of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Also, Meowder isn't in this movie as much as you'd think he would be.
No.
He's only in it for like one sequence.
He's
maybe.
very
Yeah.
Couple of
significant,
scenes.
but because he's so fucking recognizable, you kind of get the feeling.
Because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
only there when I don't know what planet it is, but it's the planet where like
Heavily guarded and shit.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
the planet where like Maytel and her mum.
Lived.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maid, I think.
No, they originally were humans by the looks of it, because there's like the castle
Yeah,
that they
you've
go
got the
into, and there's big
paintings.
portraits,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
again, feels a bit weird watching this after all the events that have happened in the UK.
Yeah.
That was, we decided to watch this way before that happened, though. So that's
Yeah,
just,
this wasn't planned.
weird coincidences.
Unfortunate timing.
Yes, but that I think that's the only time Meowder shows up, because then we hear his locket on the Phantom train when they're stopped in the final station before Great Andromeda.
Which is a lot more creepy now
Yeah.
that I'm actually thinking about
And then, we only see his corpse
it. Yeah.
when they find out Soylent Green is people.
Soylent Green is people.
Soylent
It
Green
sure
is
is.
people. Yeah. God. I don't know if I've got anything else to bring up from my notes. Oh yeah, but I think my issue, like, if they had written Faust's storyline better, it would have been like a fantastic call and response with like the first movie, because the first movie deals with
His mum.
his mum,
Yeah.
and this could have dealt with his dad and like the kind of
Yeah, because his dad was a sort of not overarching question, but it was a sort of back of the mind sort of question
Yeah.
that I had anyway. of,
because
like,
you meet
what happened
Harlock
to
and
his
you go,
dad?
father.
It doesn't help that like a lot of the characters in this series look it's the same as each other.
Yeah, Reiji Matsumoto doesn't have like a lot of dynamic.
It's thankfully not as apparent in this
In
one.
fact, I can't
No,
even
this
say
first
that's
one.
Matsumoto's fault, because he wasn't the character designer for this movie. So it's whoever the fuck designed some of these characters.
Yeah, never forget blonde Maytel,
Yeah.
redhead Maytel, blue-haired Maytel, ice Maytel.
Maytel that's on Harlock's ship.
Yes,
Maytel without a face that's also on Harlock's ship.
Yeah.
waitress Maytel.
Waitress Maytel. That one, okay, that does come down to Matsumoto, because he designs all his female characters in a very similar way.
But anyway,
It was better this movie because
oh yeah,
yeah.
fair in this movie.
there were less women.
Oh,
It's so sad, but it's true.
it's funny that you're always the one that says stuff like
Why
that.
do
'cause-
you always...
I didn't even think of it, but I was like,
Well, if
yeah,
any,
I did
if any of
struggle
us are
less,
gonna say
I know.
it's probably best it's her.
Because the first movie, it was a real struggle. I didn't notice until the end that I was like, this has been better.
Way to play for the team.
Fucking it.
Thankfully, this movie does pass the Bechdel test, I believe.
Yay!
So this is the first movie, right?
I'm assuming so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the second time.
Breathe.
Oh, fuck.
Focus.
Okay. Oh. What were we talking about?
There aren't any women in this movie.
Oh,
They aren't. No, look, they're very distinctable in this movie.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
Robot lady, Maytel, mom that's basically water.
Mom that's kind of a solar flare. That's like the vibe I get
Yeah.
from
Solar
her
flare's good,
animation.
yeah.
Somehow Prometheum has returned.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Emma Elizabeth as well, but at this point, she's always close to Harlow, and when she's next to Maytel, you can clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. They come in a set.
Yeah.
I like Tetsuo's design in these movies, but I can't forgive them for making him look like a young Harlock.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I mentioned this in the first movie, but that's not how Tetsuo looks in the manga or the TV series.
I actually did look this up because I think in the flashback he looks similar to how he looks.
Yeah, because young him looks
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
I originally looked this up because I was like, why does he look like a fucking frog?
young Tetsuo in this movie looks like the guy that becomes Harlock's ship
Yeah, him.
in the second.
Which
in the
was,
first
I remember
movie.
we discussed about this, was like, was he the father?
Whose name I'm totally blanking on.
It might have even began with a T, but I'm
I
not
think
sure if
it
I'm just
did.
thinking of Tetsuo.
No, I think it did begin with a T. I'm pretty sure they had similar sounding names too.
He also got a cameo in this movie.
He did,
which
'cause-
I that was wholesome.
Because he's like, I am going to shut down for now, friend. Because obviously,
Old friend, yeah.
mechanized ship, going to get sucked in.
Yeah.
Sook.
The good thing about this movie is just sort of subtly referencing back to the first one,
Yeah.
just in case you saw it.
Yes.
So that was nice, but
Just in case you saw it, you kind of had to have seen it.
I mean, there's a chance.
Yeah, this is
In
true.
the 80s.
And they didn't have home video, so I
Yeah.
suppose you kind of,
Gotta remember the time.
yeah.
But yeah. I've distracted the point.
No, that's fine. I was just checking my notes there. I say notes. It was a conversation I had with someone about it because I mentioned this to you guys when we were, coming to the house. I finished the movie last night and my mind was numb because it was movie 3 of 4 that I had to watch.
Yeah,
in
we
between,
had a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
In between work and college and stuff. So like, and rewatching this was like, it was
Apologies,
rough.
by the way, for a bit more chaotic than usual reviewing the next couple of movies because
Yeah.
there's just been a lot we had to watch in
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks.
So like I went into a Discord and I knew there was someone in there who's very into Galaxy Express, and I knew specifically that they liked the second one more than the first one, and so I intentionally said something that would get their attention and had a conversation with them about
Your
it.
opinion stinks.
No, I can't remember exactly what I said. I think I just said like I think I went in when I started the movie and was like, hopefully I enjoy this more the second time round, and then finished it was like, nope. But yeah, to conclude my thoughts on it, like I think there's a core of a really great piece of science fiction in there.
Because I will admit, like when the movie started, I was interested. I wanted to see where it go, and I was sort of like, this could possibly be better than the first one.
Yeah.
It just didn't go in that direction.
Because I think the first movie, I think I gave it a 10 out of 10 possibly on my anime list, and this I gave it a 7, and like I think that's fair.
That's
you know,
fair, yeah.
7 is fair.
yeah, the animation, the soundtrack, and the sound design, like I don't think any of that lets it down, and so it would be unfair to rate it lower for that.
Technically, it's pretty good.
Yes, technically it's very competent and it's very good and very enjoyable, but narratively is where it
struggles.
Yeah. Has some great moments though, like we said, the ending is very nice for Tetsuro's character journey.
That Phantom train station scene is now, in retrospect, very effective.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's I think we've said our piece. I think this is like a good one though, like in terms of for the podcast, because I think this is the first one that we've really actually had proper issue with. I know we had issues with Mammal, but those are like entirely different issues.
That was
Yes.
batshit issues.
Yes,
Yeah.
go listen to that episode if you're not sure what we're talking
We're
about.
all critical people, even of the things we love.
Yeah,
we can see
exactly.
fault in things we
I mean,
enjoy.
I think it's a bit clear at this point that out of the Lupin stuff I've watched apart from Mamo, I love that series.
Yeah,
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Lupin as well.
Because it's just so fun. It's just so nice. But Mamo was a train wreck.
Oh yeah,
It kind of slaps you in the face a bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
You want to watch this? Fuck you.
Yeah.
What?
It sort of insults you for liking
Yeah.
like the other Lupin stuff.
It's again,
Especially
it's another
with Fujiko.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's another technically competent movie,
That's a good way to put it.
but it's
Giant
not it's necessarily
fucking brain.
and it's not
Yeah.
necessarily its narrative, but more its content
Yeah.
and how it and its characterization. Whereas this one, you know, it is very much its narrative.
Yeah.
Characterization of the main characters is solid for
yeah.
Adieu. It's
yeah.
it's its secondary and side characters.
Like I liked seeing the conductor again.
Yeah.
He was great. It's like the detective in Lupin to me.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
having him be there. Fuck yeah, you're still here.
I love that it was revealed at the end. He's a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
I had a feeling like you're always wearing gloves and that you have no face. I have a feeling you also do not have a body.
I always assumed that like he was secretly like a mechanized like person. He was
Or
just sort of
so- yeah.
hiding it. But
yeah.
At the end, I didn't expect straight up nothing.
Yeah, because they had a scene where the conductor was in the bathroom.
Yeah,
And
and
that's where it's like,
Tetsuo's-
let me in. We're both boys.
Yeah,
It's fine. Which I'm assuming that's not. No.
It's I'd say it's a very Japanese approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see your dick.
I think because they have onsens and stuff, you know, like
yeah.
you know,
It's a bit more culturally acceptable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas to us, we're like, no,
No.
that's
that
still a bit
doesn't
fucking
change
weird.
a fucking
No.
thing.
Your naked ass away from me. Creepy fuck.
But overall, very good,
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable. It's very kid-like to me in a
Yeah.
way where you
Yeah.
kind of your inner kid enjoys it a lot more than the critical you.
This is a thing, though. Is like I totally didn't even register this until Professor Who. I'll just give him a shout out, and the other Discord was like, this was a kids movie, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, both of them were kids movies,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, they could get away with a lot in the
Oh,
80s.
yeah.
These are kids movies, aren't they?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like parts of them you can tell, but then they're like bodies.
Yeah, but like I mean,
Because
come
Gundam
on.
was also like on kids' TV.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Mhm.
I'm starting to think anime just doesn't understand what kids want.
You could get away with a lot in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't until
True.
really like the home video boom where it became like the late night slots were the ones you wanted.
Ah, okay.
Because people would record them, and
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
would be more for like wholesome material. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it, the EX episode gathering together Galaxy Express 39 and Adieu Galaxy Express 39. I hope you have enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time.